So at what point did you, I'm guessing you came back at some point, and did you go straight into self-employment or did you have a job first?
So I went straight back into come back and done this. So basically, like while I was away, I was sort of teaching in Beijing, traveled Australia, New Zealand. It was when I met my girlfriend. She's a project manager in marketing, and I was kind of talking to her, and it was one of those things like I wasn't getting any younger. I still don't think I'm old, but it's one of those things I was like, I need to find something. Because basically, I always thought I wanted to be a teacher until I started teaching. So then suddenly I was really sort of smug at school and through uni and stuff and watching everyone else freak out and not know what they were doing with the degree. I was just be like, I'm gonna do teaching. I know what I'm doing. I don't know about you. And I always thought I was going to be a teacher. Then, like I say, when I actually started teaching, I just thought myself, I just knew, I thought this just isn't for me. I mean, I'll never say never in terms of years and years gone by, I go back to it, but I just thought myself, this isn't what I want to do. So I kind of had a crisis in a way there of not thinking, well, I've always thought I want to do this one thing. Now suddenly I don't know what I want to do. So I was speaking to my girlfriend about kind of what I like doing, and I've always liked writing. I've
Mhm.
always liked being creative. And she told us about copywriting, and like most people, I've assumed copyright law. And I was like, that's not really what I want to do. I don't want to be a lawyer or anything like that. And she's like, no. So anyone that writes anything in terms of sales literature for businesses, sort of adverts, words on websites, brochures, anything like that, copywriter does it. And obviously I've never heard, didn't know that you could get paid to do that job. I assumed brands did it themselves.
Mhm.
And so I started looking into it, and it's one of those things where I was like, I could study copywriting and then I could go around all the agencies in Newcastle and put my kind of fate in someone else's hands, like a creative director's hands, and sort of struggle and sort of get a job that way. Or I thought, oh, I could just do it myself
Mhm.
and then build up my own portfolio that way. So
Can I
that's what I
ask you a
did.
question? Did you, and this is relevant, did you have any savings before you decided to set up on your own?
So what I did was I got back in December 2018, it was, I think, and already had scoped out what copywriting course I was going to do. Um, so I started there and did that course. So I was actually went back into teaching to kind of fund while I was doing that. Um, I mean, with copywriting, technically, you don't need to have done a course or anything. You
Yeah.
can just go out and call yourself a copywriter and start writing for people. But for me, probably the education background, going to uni and things,
Okay.
I wanted to have that bit of paper that was like, no, I actually know what I'm doing. I thought within myself, I'm going to know what I'm doing. So while I was doing the copywriting course, I kind of was working as a supply teacher and teaching assistant at a school. So basically did that for nearly a year. And then going back to your question, what I always tell people now is before you're going to go out on your own copywriting, whatever job, you're best having about 6 months savings in the bank,
At least.
just because it
Yeah.
means that at least just because it means you're not going to kind of rush into any poor decisions like just for the money or taking on any projects that you think it's not really a right fit for me, but I'll do it because I need the money. Sort of taking money out of the equation and just purely doing it in sort of business development terms. That's the ideal situation.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I had 300 quid in my bank when I eventually left because it just come to a crossroads at the school at half term. And I was like, there's no way am I going back there after half term. I've done the course. I had a couple of clients under my belt. There was only about £200 a month in terms of money, but I was like, I'm just going to do it.
But I think that's the important crossover. It's to actually, whilst you're working, if you're ever looking at kind of setting up, it's almost
Yeah,
just if you can to start to find potential clients
yeah,
before you're fully reliant on it. And at least then it mitigates the risk a little bit as opposed to just quitting your job, think,
yeah.
shit, what am I going to do? And then start from scratch.
Because that's the thing. Because even though I didn't have sort of a big client base, I didn't really have a LinkedIn following or anything. Then I still, in a way, had some momentum just in me, in my confidence. I was like, I've done the course, I've done the job for 2 or 3 people. They were happy with it. I know I'm confident now that I can go out and pitch as a copywriter and do the job for people. Whereas, yeah, if I just kind of come back and just started from scratch and did that way, I'd have like none of that momentum or confidence
Mhm.
behind us, which I think is one of the most important things is feeling and looking and talking and acting like a business owner. And all of that comes down to confidence and sort of like the lack of self-doubt, I suppose, that you might have. Whereas if you just stopped doing one thing one day and started doing something else the next day.
Yeah.